something that you're ashamed to admit you like? Story 1, depending on who is asking. Magic the Gathering. It seems like when talking to other people in my demographic, I am only supposed to talk about investing in whiskey, but I want to talk about a child's trading card game. Story 2, Bluey. I'm a grown woman, but I will sit and watch that with or without my son. Edit, while I wasn't expecting this many grown asses to enjoy Bluey LOL. Now I don't feel so ashamed. Thanks everyone. Story 3, fanfiction. I read at least half an hour worth a day, but often more. I can crush a 100k word FIC in a day. Easy. It's replaced books for me, which makes it awkward when I say I love to read and can't name a whole lot of books. It's just comforting. I know what I'm getting into, and it's usually worth my time and me. It's so disappointing buying a book based on a tiny blurb and then not getting into it. The embarrassment comes mostly from the fact that most people assume it's just all erotica. While I don't mind reading scenes, I tend to skim them sometimes and am way more into the build-up and the plot. It's not something I'm getting off to at all. Story 4, I love the band Fall Out Boy. They were my muse in 2007, but every time I mention them, even if fans of pop music, I feel like I need to apologize for liking Fall Out Boy. There's a negative stigma about the band that is super undeserved. Story 5, The Twilight Saga. The story is cringe, sure, but the soundtrack is so good. The books were what I binge read during summer vacation in high school. They just put up the movies on Netflix, and you bet I watched them like I was a teenager again. Story 6, B-Stars. Edit, thanks for all the upvotes and comments. By the way, I watched it by myself, and I suggested it to a lot of friends. But it all ends up with, are you furry? Or, it's too furry for me. Just give it a chance. You don't have to like it, but just don't be so superficial. Story 7, I have a lot of old people hobbies like model trains, model plastic kits of everything, WW2 stuff, mainly the history of the weapons, etc. Not Heil Hitler sympathizer. I find the model kits require concentration, and you have to focus on it. It's my version of meditation, much like bonsai trees or something. I also would rather watch searching cartoons versus reality shows or dramas. I use TV to disconnect from the world, not get all anxiety drama over actors playing a character, and in my 30s and single and afraid to bring it up during dating LOL. I have normal interests as well, so those are brought up, but these are kind of closet stuff. Story 8, Taylor Swift. I'm a 25-year-old dude who can't stand the four-chordness and superficial music of most pop artists. I'm big into classical music. I grew up listening to classic rock and oldies. Yet ever since I heard Love Story 13 years ago, I've been a huge Swiftie. Not a big fan of Reputation, but I can't get enough of the rest of her albums. Story 9, BDSM. I've heard people claim the people who like it are into rape. 1. It's consensual. 2. I do not get turned on by someone desperately begging for help while they are being forced into something horrible that will traumatize them and scare them for eternity. Story 10, Nothing. Life's better when you're unapologetically you. I'm a 40-year-old dude. Meghan Trainor slaps. Pastel colors are my jam and make up the majority of my wardrobe. I spent an ungodly sum on a chance to play with otters at the local aquarium. There's nothing like getting beat up as a kid in the 80s for the sin of liking Marvel comics. To put pop culture whims into perspective. Story 11, Eminem, Logic, Hobson, and NF. Every time I mention it anywhere, I get 50k people saying, wow, you're so white or edgy white kid from the suburbs. Like, yes, I am, but I just like that they rap fast. Clever rhymes are also a bonus. Story 12, I've thought about making a confession bear about this Big Bang Theory. I've been making fun of it for 10 years. Then first started watching it during the pandemic. It's hilarious. Yes, some of it is dumb and problematic, but it's got some really good moments. And it has that same comfort thing that The Office has for some reason. Story 13, Several Things, really. Going back to watch compilations of commercials I remember from my childhood. It sounds really weird, and I have never told anyone. I really enjoy spending my weeknights watching The King of Queens, as it's one of my favorite sitcoms. And it's usually on TV, so I will watch it almost every weeknight. And on some days, usually Fridays, I'll drink alone while watching it. Watching old videos from my childhood is to take a nostalgia trip. It can really be anything really, like old Lego stop-motion films. Apparently a lot of these are symptoms of anxiety, not the content necessarily, but going back to watch the same things over and over to achieve comfort. Story 14, Black Veil Brides. They're actually awesome, and it seems like it's some kind of trend to hate them. But they're actually a decent band, and the musicianship is really good. It's not my favorite band ever, not even close, but I like him. Story 15, Submissive Women. Not your usual small girl who likes being taken advantage of. No, I love big hunks of meat, strong, muscular women who look like they'd kick your shins in and look hot while doing it. Slap a collar and leash on her, tie her arms behind her back, and I would get horny on sight, clothes or not. Story 16, Dreams Manhunt Vids. Don't like him, but the interactions between him and his friends is fun, except when he's being is entertaining, especially when it's 1-on-4 battle. Story 17, I drank too much at a baseball game. took off my shirt, and started dancing with some guys who might have been exceeding flamboyant homosexuals. They had it on the big screen. This was 10 years ago. I still get about it. I think we're dancing to this song. I have no regrets. Story 18. I'm a 23-year-old lesbian who recently became obsessed with Don Draper of Mad Men. He's such a horrible man. My friends say, this is so out of character for you. And I know it's true, but even I am not immune to John Hamm. Story 19. I get really turned on when girls wear clothes that other guys find unattractive and boring. Baggy mom jeans, or that grandpa nerdy aesthetic with minimal makeup. High-waisted especially is a huge turn-on for me, for some reason. It's hard to admit that when every other guy prefers girls in tight form, fitting leggings, low-rise jeans, and as much exposed skin as possible, and not in any capacity religious, prude, or anything like that, I think it's because I see this look as more taboo since most girls won't dress like this. Back in high school, I temporarily went to a school that had a strict dress code. It was supposed to make the classroom less distracting, but it had the exact opposite effect. I couldn't stop staring at the girls in my classes. I made up some lies about not liking the school, and ended up going back to my public school, where girls dress like skanks since that was less distracting for me. Story 20, I'm probably going to get for this, but the Twilight Saga books. I read every one of them when I was really into romance and reading books from the female perspective. If it's any consolation, the books were more enjoyable than the movies, in my opinion. Story 21, I love historical romance novels. I've read over 300. The definition of guilty pleasure, I never mention reading when I tell people my hobbies because they always ask what I read, and I just respond with trash. Story 22, Teen Titans Go over original Titans. I'm nearly middle-aged. It cracks me up, especially when they start teaching kids about incredibly boring adult topics like rental properties or the gold standard. Story 23, I love the Wiggles. I'm a 28-year-old nanny to 4 children, and the youngest is starting to lose interest in the Wiggles, and am devastated. I walk around listening to their songs on Spotify. Without the kids, I just love the Wiggles. Story 24, The Dream SMP. I hate being lumped into the loud minority of toxic stans who will stop at nothing to see Dream and George get married and call Tubbo their little boy who must be protected at all costs. I also enjoy watching Peppa Pig. Story 25, Nerf guns. I act unashamed, but in reality, I hate the judgment I get for it. I just think they're cool. Also, I have bad childhood trauma related to gun violence. I like guns. I've shot them before as an adult and had fun doing so, but I don't want to own them. I don't want them in my home. Nerf guns offer me a safe and fun way to just plink little targets, and I have fun taking them apart, figuring out how they work, and putting them back together, and they're way cheaper than airsoft or paintball. Story 26, getting mad at someone and feeling justified in being mean to them. I hate that I feel like I'm enjoying it in the moment, because afterwards I feel terrible and trying very hard to change it, but I still slip up sometimes, and am usually still just rearing for a fight, which is not a good way to live. Story 27, gotcha. It's always portrayed negatively because of the toxic parts that have damaged it reps severely. There are some good parts still there and the community actively try to restore it, but people drown them out to give attention to the negative parts and hate on anyone who even remotely says that not all of it is a lost cause. Story 28, this sounds stupid, but video games, hear me out. At the college I'm at, let us say a college that focuses on physical jobs. Video games are seen as a waste of time. They know nothing of them, so when someone asks, what do you do for fun? Believe it or not, around here, they're the wrong answer, and it's video games, so I just don't mention it much outside of family and friends. They'll just say I read or watch shows or draw or sing or something. I just can't say video games. Story 29, The Sims 3. M36. I bought the laptop I did so that it would run better. I have all the expansions and most of the stuff packs are cheap now, since 4 came out, and I have custom content and mods. Not the extent some people have, though. It satisfies my shopping desire, my decorating desire, and my desire to have different lives. I just feel a little ashamed to say it out loud. Story 30, Boost. I'm a 29-year-old who loves Boost. It's basically Nesquik, but being a 29-year-old dude with a fridge full of Boost screams I'm some kind of sick predator. Story 31, My Little Pony. I see it as one of the greats in modern animated shows. However, due to the fandom making such a name for itself, even outside of the fandom, because of the sexualizing of characters and being generally weird, I never felt comfortable actively expressing my love for it. Then there are also people who see the show as something for kids, AMD immature. Meanwhile, no one bats an eye in adult watching Adventure Time. The show is really good and has a lot of wholesome messages. I really love it, but I'm just ashamed of sharing that love. It really sucks that the fandom was so weird, because people associated that view with the show, and that's just so not fair. Story 32, Pineapple on Pizza. And I kinda enjoy playing on Roblox, even though I'm 16, still kinda young. but the kids at my school make me ashamed to like anything, to be honest. Story 33, I'm not really ashamed of it. People can F off if they think less of anyone for doing stuff they enjoy. I'm a 36-year-old male and love Legos and diamond art. I get a lot of snickers about both. I probably have 2,000 worth of completed Lego sets and several completed diamond arts. There's not many things I find more relaxing than getting a little inebriated and doing either of these activities. Story 34, I get judged a lot for listening to music from Slipknot and Metallica. Two very different sounds, but I love music from both bands. Also probably because in black it's seen as weird anti-black. Story 35, I hate rap trap, but there are some certain songs that I genuinely like. I don't listen to them that often to say, wow, oh my god, what a song, take my money. But I'd be really embarrassed if one of my friends caught me listening to that, lol. Story 36, those instant karma subreddits. I know it's up, but honestly I feel like karma and justice are human constructs that seldom actually happen. Good people are punished and bad ones thrive. To see a bad person brutally punished moments after doing something evil feels good. Story 37, when I drank every day. Although I did not have a lot of, I got pretty wild fantasies. In truth, it was mostly just drink, and the fact I've been drunk for so long, I kind of forgot what sober life should be. Story 38, I'm starting to have some really weird feelings about liking masculine, older men. Feels weird. I've had exclusive feelings for women my whole life. And now, wham, there you go. I don't think I'd ever tell a soul in my real life. Story 39, was really into K-pop starting in 2014, and I still love my favorite group, and the music they put out. Haven't been the cesspool fandoms for a couple years now, though, and don't like being associated with them. Another thing is that my boyfriend is Korean, so I have to hide the fact that I like K-pop from others, or am labeled a Korea boo and accused of having only started dating him because of that. Story 40, Dream SMP. It gets Minecraft plus storytelling. Two of my favorite things. I know the whole dream cheating thing, but it's interesting and funny to me. Everyone crap talks it, so I don't tell anyone though. Story 41, 90s and 2000s rock band. I like it, and Eve told my friends that I like it, but all of them just never like listening to it. They like rap more, and not gonna lie, I don't really like listening to rap. It's fair to say that my dad is the only one who shares the same music type as me. Story 42, I really like listening to mall elevator music. The people I work with at a security department literally start questioning my existence when I have it in while writing reports. Story 43, I'm turning 25 in December and still watch Disney Channel, and have been catching up on the shows I missed out on when I outgrew Stop Disney Channel like 12-ish because I thought everyone would judge me. Story 44, K-pop. I wouldn't say I'm ashamed to like it. I just have a fear of being judged or disliked for it. One of my closest friends would make jokes and make fun of me about it for the first year I got into it, and would not stop until I explicitly told her it wasn't fair and that the joke she made wasn't funny. She felt guilty but our relationship hasn't been the same since then. Story 45, I get a lot of criticism when I say I legitimately enjoy a fair amount of Lil Pump's music. Most people just know him as the Gucci Gang guy and write him off as a shitty rapper that got lucky his stupidity was turned into a meme, but a lot of his songs are legitimately catchy and very easy to listen to. Obviously, it's not something I'll look for a deeper meaning in. His lyrics are simple, but he has good flow, and I could just bop to it as I play games or do work. Great background music. Story 46, Taylor Swift. I'm a guy who's a very masculine college student. So Taylor's like the last thing you'd think I like, but she's literally my favorite artist, LMAO. Story 47, I'm a big guy, and I look a bit scary as well, but I love to play with babies. They're just full of energy. I also love baby pigs and raccoons. Mainly I love seeing people happy. Had it rough growing up, but I'm glad that I didn't lose my loving nature. Story 48, My Little Pony. Not really ashamed, as I've learned to never hide who you are, and no one will ever have ammo against you. But if there was something this would be on the list, first time I watched, it was to see if it was as bad or good as both sides kept claiming. About 2/3 of the way through an episode, one remarked, "Why do I not hate this?" Started watching after that, and kept bugging my brother to give an episode a try. Knowing my experience, he too remarked, "Why do I not hate this? Been a fan ever since." Story 49 on Reddit. I'm scared to admit I love hip-hop. I feel like everyone here thinks every rapper is a huge, and all hip-hop music as absolute garbage. I posted my favorite hip-hop albums on this subreddit a few days ago, which were MBTF, To Pimp a Butterfly, Marshall Mathers LP, and I Think Good Kid M, a D-City 2. People actually replied with stuff like, "Are you counting down albums made by Big?" Or, "You listen to rap." Disco. Always liked it because it gets me pumped